Good evening, everyone. My name is Stacy, your host for tonight. Welcome, everyone, for tuning in for this broadcast. I hope everyone is doing fine and safe at home. We're doing this series of program because JPO think this will be able to help in lifting up the spirit of everyone in this long period of lockdown. Please help us to do the polling. Your feedbacks are needed and very appreciated. If you have any questions to ask, please type them in Q&A below. If you're watching it from YouTube, please type your questions in the chat. Questions will be answered after the interview with our speaker. JPO are very honored to be able to invite Tan Suin as our special guest for tonight. Suin joined the Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra as a sub-principal percussionist in January 2019. She studied with Paul Filbert and Matt Prendergast when she was a member of the MPYO, Malaysian Philharmonic Youth Orchestra, during her undergraduate study at the University of Malaya. Suin went on to complete her master's degree in classical percussion at the Manhattan School of Music, New York, studying with Duncan Patton, Chris Lam, Shi Yi-U, and Eric Charleston. Twice a member of the Asian Youth Orchestra, she toured and performed in major cities and concert halls in Asia, including the National Center for Performing Art, Beijing, Tokyo Opera City Concert Hall, Japan, Esplanade, Singapore, National Concert Hall, Taipei, and Hanoi Opera House, Vietnam. As a soloist, she made her debut international solo marimba performance in Japan in 2009. She was a semi-finalist of the Great Plains Marimba competition held in Oklahoma City in July 2013. Couple months later, she won Best Performance Award in the Thailand World Music Championship 2013 in Pattaya. In June 2014, she made her debut percussion concerto performance with the Malaysian Philharmonic Youth Orchestra and Dewan Philharmonic Petronas. Suin is sought after as a percussionist and has conducted workshops, master classes, and performed in most major cities in Malaysia. Suin also performed with the Macau Symphony Orchestra and Metropolitan Festival Orchestra, Singapore. Besides playing percussion, Suin also enjoys gardening, calligraphy writing, and cooking. Our JPO family attendees are mostly primary, secondary, college students, their parents, and teachers. At the end, we believe all the knowledge and information we share later would be truly invaluable to them. Hello, Suin. How are you doing? Sorry, can you unmute?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm muted. Hi,
Thank you.
Stacy.
Hello.
Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. So, your topic today is peak performance. What is a peak performance? It sounds quite new to us.
So peak performance basically means you are in an optimum state, physically and mentally, to perform an exceptional performance. So this term is used more commonly in the sports field, not so much in our field. For example, in the Olympics, everything is determined by that very moment of how you perform, really. And the reason why I chose this topic is because so many people do so well in practice rooms, but when it comes to the time to perform, they are unable to execute at the same level, which is really frustrating. And I mean, there are books that talks about similar topics, and Timothy Galway's The Inner Game of Tennis. I don't know if you heard of that before. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty popular book, talking about performance. And I mean, it talks about how to improve your game and discover your true potential. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So So, could you tell us more about the video just now that we watched?
So yeah, it's interesting. There's like 5 videos that we just watched.
Yeah.
It's like pretty important performance throughout my career. The first one is actually a Malaysian premier solo marimba piece, Isolamento. It's written by my dear teacher in New York, Duncan Patton. He wrote this piece at the very beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, basically in April or March. I mean, yeah, it's pretty early still. So in the US, people are supposed to keep a 6 feet distance to maintain, yeah, it's called a physical distance. And so in this piece, none of the interval is less than a 6. So representing the 6 feet physical distance they have to practice. So, and then, yeah. And then later we saw me playing with Peter, like the marimba duo piece. It's Steve Wright's Nagoya Marimba. It's probably one of the most popular marimba duo piece that being played worldwide. Yeah, I mean, everyone knows this piece. I mean, at least the percussionists, yeah. And all of this happened just a week ago, like that particular performance was just a week ago. And the first virtual music concert series, if you can see like down there. So the entire concert was live broadcasted on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And actually, they are gonna have their second series in a week. Yeah, I mean, do check out if you guys, yeah, have the time for it. Yeah. So the second performance was from, yeah, where the blue shirt, yeah, well, from my graduation recital in New York. That was 2013, I think. Yeah. So it was a multi-percussion solo piece by Dave Marek, Trilogy. And then later on, I'm playing a duet with, yeah, again, another very, very talented marimba player, Chi, who is also my best friend in New York. And we play Ultimatum by Zipkovics. It's a really cool marimba duo piece too. And then later, it's me and Matt playing the snare drum duo. I mean, Matt, again, it's like a very dear mentor and like a friend of mine. And then we were playing Sean Tilburg's 4-minute psychosis. It's snare drum duo with a pre-recorded tape. Yeah. And we don't have a click track, so like everything has to be really on time. Like we have to count really well. And yeah, I mean, it's inspired and sounded a lot like the music from the Radiohead. I don't know if you know this band. It's like an English rock band from the 80s. You're probably too young for that. And next one is a percussion concerto, like on stage. I have 2 big setups on each side on the stage. That's a percussion concerto by Joe Dado, Ruby. It's called Ruby. Yeah, I did with the MPYO. Yeah, I was like inspired to play that piece because of Colin Curry, again, like another big name in the percussion world. He performed this piece in DFP when I was in the MPYO, when I was still in the youth orchestra. And we attended all his like rehearsal sessions and we hung out with him and everything. He's like super humble and talented musician, like super honored to like have met him and like seeing him like progress through the week prior to the performance itself. Yeah, and as you can see, it's for many percussion instruments. And yeah, I did have to like map out the entire settings according to the space I have. I mean, it's important. And if I put one instrument just like maybe 5 inches away from where it's supposed to be, I wouldn't have made it to play, yeah, the entrances. So yeah, it's all like have to like planning takes. I mean, yeah, you have to sit down and just plan to make sure everything works. And yeah. So, and the last performance you saw, it's like a solo marimba thing, is The Source by Toshi Ichiyanagi. That was in my solo recital 3 years ago. And that piece was commissioned by Momoko Kamiya, again, another big name, marimba like giant, like she plays really well, really admire her. And I was really lucky. So my recital was in on the 9th of September 2017. And then I was in Taiwan maybe 2 months before that, and I saw her perform. She was there and performing that piece. So I saw her play live. That piece of music is written for her, and I saw her play live. It's pretty amazing. So I was super inspired, and then of course I practiced, and then 2 months later, like 2 weeks before my my recital, I went to Japan for like a Fuji mountain hike, and then I actually went to her place and played that piece for her. It was really inspiring. Yeah, it's like a life-changing lesson, really. Yeah, it was good. I was really lucky. Everything just happened right on time. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Oh, that's lots of performance. and due to your profile, you went to many different countries and performed.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So can you talk us through how you prepare for a performance?
Yeah. So basically, there are like 3 big phases for me to prepare for performance. The first phase, which is the initial learning process. So it involves learning of notes and figuring out the technical and musical issues. So this stage is important to be extremely focused, because this is when I'm building a connection between me and the music, and that's gonna be the base of the performance. And if my practice is super focused, then my foundation will be so much stronger. And I usually, I take it measure by measure, and note by note, like just really thorough. Yeah, and then I make sure I really know what I want to do with every note and every measure. I don't just run through the whole piece and hope it goes okay, like really focus and just do it right from the beginning. So here comes phase 2, when I finish learning the piece, and this is when I start like running through larger sections and trying to figure out what I want to say musically, and what are the things that are going to be exciting for me as a performer and also the audiences. So I will start playing around and experimenting and see what works and what doesn't. So that's really a time where like you really have to think out of the box and really try everything you can, and whoops. And I guess a good way to do it is all to like record yourself. It's always good to listen yourself from a different perspective. Yeah. And at the end of this phase of practice, I'm pretty sure, like, and I have a solid idea of how I want to present my piece. So the last stage of the preparation is when I'm really just prepping for the performance. So I start playing for people, trying to reenact the performance, the emotions, the nerves, and everything. Yeah, I always play for someone I can trust. And it doesn't have to be the same instrument. Like it's always great to play for a wind player or something, as I'm a percussionist. So one time I played for an oboist, and then he was like, do you ever breathe? Technically I do not have to breathe, right? So true, musical phrase needs to breathe. I was not, so he was suffocating just listening to me play. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, and then get feedbacks and don't listen to everything everyone say, because you prepare for the performance. So at this point I should have a solid idea on how I want to present my piece. So I'm already at the end, sorry. Playing for people, create a performance environment, and also, like, for example, walking to the instrument and like make sure everything's well set up. As I told you just now, like setting up is really like a big part of our performance, and making sure that I can start a piece. I mean, to start a piece, like the beginning of a piece or a performance is probably the most nerve-wracking part of a performance. So I should feel natural when I start a piece. So, I mean, yeah, I do practice starting a piece. I will just walk to my instrument, play like 3 bars, walk away, walk back, and do that like, I don't know, 10 times or like 3 times a day, a week before the performance. Just do whatever you can to like feel settled. Yeah, don't like, I try not to allow any little thing to disturb me, because during the performance, it's like high level alert. Like little things will trigger me. Like I do not want to lose focus. Like this is what I'm doing and I have to do it well. Like nothing's going to distract me. So you need to be able to have that high level of like connection with what you're doing. Yeah. So, I mean, if I done all these things well and correctly, I'm in a much better position to give a natural and relaxed performance, and everyone enjoys. Yeah.
There's really lots of steps and so many things that you have to take care of.
Yeah.
And it must require lots of practice. So
yeah. Sorry. I mean, it comes with experience too. Like, I mean, you get better every time on how to prepare. Yeah.
So how is it typical practice session like for you?
So my practice sessions vary. Like it's different depending on what I have going on that day itself. So usually if I have long practice sessions, I will start with warm up and basic techniques. I think it is important that basic skills are maintained always, and not to let certain skills slide. For example, scales and arpeggios, and also sight readings. These are like really handy stuff. Like you have to use it all the time. So it's important to do it every day and to keep your basic technique at a high level. Yeah. And then from there, I will move on to the stuff that requires some brain work. For example, like learning new notes, learning a new piece, or working on a difficult passage or transition, like something that brain work. And then, I move on to play like a full piece or whatever, or do something fun. Yeah. I mean, big part of my practice session consists of slow. Yeah. So big part of my practice session is consists of slow practice. I do a lot of slow practice. I can't stress enough how important slow practices are. Yeah, I mean, when I start learning a new piece or when I work on a particular section, like I play it at least half the tempo. Yeah, I'm not even close, and slowly pick up my tempo from there. And when I say slowly, it means like at most 3 clicks at a time. I mean, depends on, what the passage is. Yeah, how hard it is. I mean, I increase the tempo in a way that I still feel confident and like to play every note at the correct dynamics, touch and articulation, like everything still have to flow. Yeah, I shouldn't feel like nervous about, oh, it's faster or anything. It should increase gradually. So the goal is to play like without hitches. This is so important. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, there were times that I was not patient at all, and I rushed through the passages, and then I ended up not sounding great at all. And soon after that, I realized I have to really clock in my slow practice sessions and just, do it. I mean, slow practices allow me to take time to like analyze and look at every single note that I play, and yeah, analyze and take reasonable action if I need to. Like my brain has time to process everything. I mean, if it's too fast, like we can't do that. So and so this, yeah, I mean, I always tell my students to do this too. I mean, I have a little notebook that I log down details of my practice sessions. I think it's important to solidify what you did for the day and what your goals are going to be for the next practice session or the next day. I mean, if I don't do that, I normally feel like my practice sessions are a little scattered. I like to like, yeah, keep things organized. And then when I leave the room, I can like totally get it out of my mind, and I come in, I know what I gotta do. So it's like, yeah, systematic. Yeah, and for long sessions, I take breaks. Breaks are important. Yeah, so that I don't hurt my hand or brain. Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to like walk out the room, take a breathe in some fresh air, come back fresh and ready to go again. Yeah. Well, short practices usually more like focus into like a particular technique or a small section of a piece that I would like to work on. So, I mean, long and short sessions are different, but they are equally focused. I mean, yeah, high level focus. And I think no matter who you are or what you're doing, there's always a way to improve, and there's always a way to like strive to be better. And I think when you enter a practice room, you have to have that mental focus to realize that you are trying to get better. Like, yeah, always. So, I mean, whenever I practice, I do it as focused as I possibly can. Yeah.
Wow. I think even though like you really love the music, there should be sometimes that practice every day is very tough for you. And you mentioned about mental control, right? And so I wanted to know, how do you motivate yourself to have inspired practice session every day?
So yeah, that comes to a different level of discussion on this topic. So there are a few things that I keep in mind and to keep myself focused on what I want to achieve. So the first one is I set long-term goals and short-term goals. So long-term goals, for example, like learning an entire book of etudes or be able to play a particular piece that is too hard for me now. Like, so it's like in 2 years, I want to be able to play this piece or something like that. So these are goals that may take months or maybe years to achieve, but it's important to keep me on track and stay focused. So short-term goals are like being able to play a piece, I mean, learning piece or master a certain technique. These are goals that keep me excited on a daily and weekly basis. And of course, all these are part of working towards the long-term goals. And second thing is I surround myself with people who inspire me. I mean, there's a quote, like a cliche quote that says like, we are the average of the 5 people we are close with, which is so true, right? And the people we surround ourselves with are the biggest influence on our behavior. So I surround myself with people who care for their arts and who enjoy constantly improving themselves and generally happy, which is important too. Just being in a good state of mind and doing what you love. Yeah. And next, I do like self-reflection, which is understanding who you are and why you act the way you do. And just what your values are. I mean, nothing comes easy, and there are always like distractions and obstacles along the way, but it's important to hold on to your values and still stand on your feet during tough times. And last but not least, we talked about this a little bit. Consistency is key. Yeah, no matter what you are working on, there are going to be days that you feel really motivated, and there are days that you just don't feel motivated at all. But it's important to push through the day that you don't. Yeah, so just by keeping the consistency up so that you can continue to progress. Yeah, just always do your best. Yeah.
Those points are all very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, it's very basic points, but like people tend to forget about it. Just, I mean, it's simple. It's really,
Yeah.
mhm.
But simple points are the most important points.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what are the difference between preparing for a solo recital, an orchestra or chamber concert, and an audition?
Oh, okay, cool. So, for solo recital, it's a chance to show my personality, to play music I want to play, and basically have as much fun as possible. Yeah, this is an enjoyable type of preparation for me, just because I'm really trying to show off myself and showcase the skills that I feel I'm really good at. And yeah, I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's there's a lot of notes learning because it's a solo recital. I mean, yeah, it's like 45 minutes of music. That's a lot. Yeah, and I do it mostly by memorizing. So yeah, but it's fun. That's why I do it. So this is the most fun like preparation for me. And then for an orchestral performance, so orchestral performances is like me working with other people. So the preparation up to the first rehearsal is the most important part of the process in terms of like knowing the piece and knowing what other people are playing and knowing how my part fits into everything else. Yeah, and if I have any technical or musical challenges on my part, obviously I have to take care of those before the first rehearsal. And so what most important is that my part makes sense with everybody else part. Yeah. And primarily this is done through studying the score and listening to recordings, really. Yeah. As for auditions, um, auditions are totally different, I feel. I mean, because you are under a microscope, and to me, like every note just have to be perfect, and every note has to sound exciting and musical, and you're playing like excerpts without an orchestra, but the piano needs to know what you're playing, and they needs to hear the orchestra, just except with the orchestra, yeah, without the orchestra. So yeah, it has to sound exciting, and this is kind of like a athletic competition, really. I mean, you are doing the same thing everyone else is doing, but you you really have to come out on top. So during the preparation, I mean, you have to criticize every minor detail and really break it down, take it apart, work on it. I mean, there are going to be hundreds of you playing the exact same thing, and I mean, yours just has to be perfect. I mean, it's tough and stressful, but every time I play for an audition, like I feel like I'm a grown woman. Like I feel different. Like it's always a life-changing experience, and yeah, I really train you to be good. Yeah.
I see. Oh, okay. So that was it for interview questions.
Mm-hmm.
we can move on to Q&A session.
Okay.
So, so you play marimba. How did you start playing marimba? Like, what attracted you to play this?
So I started playing the piano as a kid, and yeah, I played piano for 18 years before, yeah, before everything. And then, I was in the percussion section in my high school band, and then I don't know. Keyboard just. I love percussion playing. Really, like it's fun. It's exciting. There's so many things to play, and then somehow I just like attract to the marimba playing. It's so musical. I guess it's because it's so similar to piano playing too. Yeah, and yeah, it just somehow has a deep connection with the marimba. So I just keep playing it. Because I enjoy doing that. Yeah. Oh wait, did you also ask like how do I get to play that too?
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, obviously when I was in my high school band there were no marimba, and then I don't know, my dad just suddenly a marimba appeared in my living room one day. Like my dad bought me a marimba, so
Wow.
yeah, I was lucky. And then I didn't even know what that was, and then he decided to buy me a marimba. So like, oh great, and then I started playing, and I didn't really, yeah, it's a journey, but it's great. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Do you usually use 4 sticks when you play marimba?
Well, nowadays, yes, just because most pieces I play requires 4 mallets. I've done maybe 1 or 2 pieces with 6 mallets. That's about it. It's insane. It's hard for me, but yeah, 4 is pretty natural for me. Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing that all the time.
Okay. Is knowing how to play piano important in order to be a good percussionist?
There's definitely pros. There's definitely advantage. There's so many of my peers find it hard to read notes. I do, I do read notes way faster than many people, and definitely there's an advantage. Yeah, 18 years of training playing the piano, looking at different musical like the pitches and stuff definitely helps, especially sight reading and like the how phrases are connected or the musicality. It totally helps a lot. And then like the harmony and different lines, because on piano we do like maybe 3 or 4 lines at the same time. So like since young I'm trained to like listen to all these different lines. So it does help, like just hearing wise and coordination and visual everything. Yeah, it does.
So it helps, but you don't necessarily have to play.
Yeah, I don't think so. There's some, especially in America. Here most people start with piano playing, right? It's so common. Everyone takes piano lesson, and but in the States it's different. Like people like will go to school and take percussion lessons or drum lessons or saxophone lessons. Yeah, they just start from non-piano, and it's totally fine. Like you build up different skills, and because piano help me in many ways, but I also envy people who can play the drums too, or like started their musical journey by playing drums. I struggle a long time on the snare drum. It's like just the groove just doesn't work, and then the technique and everything it took me a while to figure that out. Yeah.
Oh, I see. All right. So what is your duration of typical practice? How short is your short practice and how long is your long session?
Yeah, good question. So when I was in school, minimum practice time is, I would say 6. That's minimum. Very rarely I do 6 a day. It's normally 8. and the longest is 13. This is when I was in school, okay?
Wow.
I mean, when you're a student, this is your job to practice. So I
Mm.
would say like 8 to 13 hours. So long is 13, short is 6. But now, because I'm working, I of course, everything changed. I gotta work and everything. So I will have an hour session, short one, just go in there, do some warm up, 8 tubes, run through some stuff, and then an hour come out. And yeah, super efficient, focus, and yeah, get things done. So I would say short is like an hour. And I don't know, like short practices are good too. Like as I said just now, when I have long practice sessions, I will do breaks in between just to refresh my mind. I mean, instead of doing, let's say, 4 hours of practice session, like I can break it down to 1 hour and then I go do something else, come back 1 hour, a total a day of 4 hours. That's pretty good too. So it works differently. Yeah.
Right. See. Do you have problem adjusting or adapting to the different size of pitch instruments like glockenspiel, xylophone, marimba, and vibraphone? Did you ever play all those different instruments in one concert?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I have played, I mean, yeah, definitely all four in one concert. I'm just trying to think if I have played all four in one piece before. I definitely did xylophone, marimba, and vibraphone in one piece, maybe glockenspiel, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty common. But to answer the question of adjusting, if I have problem adjusting or adapting to different sizes, I was taught at a very young age to not freak out about things like that. I mean, so many people make it such a huge deal, like just, oh no, I'm playing on xylophone now, but the xylophone there is bigger, so it feels like a big adjustment. But when I was in school, I practice on the xylophone, and when I go to play a lesson, I play on the marimba, and I have to make it work. That's what it takes. Like I feel like it's a mental thing. If you think it will work, it will work. I mean, it took me a few minutes to like adjust, but your body will. If I mean, yes, everything's smaller on the xylophone, things are bigger on the marimba, but if you know the relationship between the notes, and then I don't know, your body will adjust to it, and it's not just. I mean, playing an instrument is not just muscle. It's visual. It's your ear, of course, like hand. So you cannot just depend on your muscle memory. Like you gotta look. So A was supposed to be here, but on the marimba, A is further away. So reach out. I mean, do something. Yeah, train your brain to be fast.
That's important. Yeah. Okay. Playing so many different percussion instruments, did you ever have problem getting all the instruments to practice?
Yes. I mean, this is a common. I'm pretty lucky. I have a marimba and vibraphone at home. Yeah, super luxurious already. But I mean, when I have to play like multi-percussion piece, so like the percussion concerto that you guys saw at the very beginning, I play like drums and stuff. I practice on books. So I have different sizes books, or actually maybe just books, whatever books, set up on my table, and then I'll just sing the pitches of the drum, and then like my cymbal will be like, I mean, still on the, I mean, in real life, the cymbal is like higher, right? But I mean, for me, it's just on the table. So it's everything in my mind. Like, so this is the cymbal, and like, so I'm training my muscle to do things, and then I just imagine the sound in my head, and then also just to train my body movement and everything. So yes, I do have problems getting all the instrument in a place, and like, I mean, for big setup too, like it's hard to put the marimba and vibraphone and drums and all in one room. So most of the time I practice them separately, and then maybe a week is great, but maybe 2 days before the concert, I get to play everything together. So everything prior to that is just mental.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't get to touch instrument very much.
Oh, wow. That's tough. Okay. So, could you share with us what are the common challenge percussionists face, and what was your biggest challenge so far? Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the biggest challenge is what whoever was asking just now, like just to be able to have access to instruments. I mean, now we have like the percussions. I mean, in KL, like it's pretty easy to rent instrument in general, like percussion instrument. And then Chenko, he's like the national percussionist of the National Symphony Orchestra. I mean, if you know him, he's like super nice. I mean, sometimes he will let you practice on his instrument. I mean, that's great, but not everyone has someone like that. So yeah, I guess that's the biggest challenge for us. And then what what's the question? What was my biggest challenge
Yeah, what
so
was your
far?
biggest challenge?
Oh, biggest challenge. I don't know. Everything's a challenge. Life is tough, man. I don't know. I would say. I mean, yeah. I know everything's tough, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, if I have to say something, like, I mean, snare drum playing has been a huge thing for me, and I'm still working on it. I would say that's the biggest challenge for me. Snare drum playing.
Or is there any experience, like unique experience that you want to share?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, one of the picture where I was sitting on timpani, and then like Paul, like my teacher, was sitting on another timpani. Like, so two of us were playing timpanis. So that's like my first experience playing with the MPO, which is amazing. I was like a student, and it's like, oh, I'm playing second team with this orchestra. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's a life-changing experience again, and yeah, I mean, this is just one of the many. Like, it's just throughout the way, there's so many people. They're so inspiring, and like they're playing just who they are, and it's really hard to pinpoint. I mean, I'm lucky to be doing what I enjoy doing, and yeah, everything's great.
All right, thank you. Okay, what do you do after you have an unmotivated practice session? How do you keep yourself motivated after that?
Unmotivated practice session. That's a very good question, actually. Yeah, I mean, I remember I was learning a marimba piece, which I don't remember what's the piece anymore now. That was in New York, and then so there was like a graduation performance or something happening in the concert hall. So I decided, all right, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna do any better in this practice room now. So I decided to leave and then go to the hall and sit in and listen to whatever is performing on stage. So there's this vibraphonist. I forgot his name too. He's like a jazz vibraphonist. He played so well. Like, it's just him. It's like it's everything just flow and so inspiring, and yeah, I felt so happy. It's just immediately just happiness. And then I went back to my practice room immediately, and the most magical thing happened. Like, that passage that I have been struggling with for the past, I don't know, 5 hours or entire day, I managed to do it at that moment. Like, I was so inspired, and I was just in such a good place, and I just managed to do what I couldn't do before that. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I mean, listen to live performances as much as you could. I mean, yes, now it's tough to do that, but yes, and we can access like videos online, but life is still different. Like, you will be able to feel the energy of the performers, and like you are sitting with like hundreds of people, just like being in the same, I don't know, the vibe is just good energy, and you'll be inspired. Yeah, just being there. Yeah.
I wish we can see live concert soon.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna miss that too. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Do you normally use your own instrument for concert or the rented one?
Well, so now that I'm working with MPO, I mean, they have everything there. All the instruments are there, and I actually practice on the instruments there more often than my own instruments. So whenever I perform, I use MPO's instruments, obviously. But before that, if I, yeah, I mean, there was a year 2014 or 15, I was touring with my marimba all throughout Malaysia, basically. Where did we go? I think we went to JB and then we went to Penang, maybe Kuantan. I don't remember. So we were basically all over the place. And then I just take my marimba with me, which is pretty huge. And then, I mean, I would use my snare drum, triangle, whatever I have. And then, of course, mallets. I use my own mallets. Yeah, just because, I feel good using my own.
I see. Okay. Is there any advice that you want to give to those students who just recently start learning percussion instruments?
Recently start. I would say so. Well, just I don't know, practice consistently, and I don't know, find joy in it. It's very important, and go watch as many percussion concerts as you can, because when you start learning, it's just you a pad, like drum pad, two drumsticks, and then you're probably doing a lot of like right hand, left hand. It can get pretty boring. It's not like piano, you hear pitches or music, like so. But of course, I mean, yeah, right hand, left hand, and later like rhythm comes in and everything else. But by watching performances, like it's like, oh, there are so many different. You learn that there are so many different instruments and like so much possibility from this little drum pad thing that you're doing. Everything starts from there, really. So I think it's important to see the potential of what you're doing now, and feel inspired to move forward and keep practicing.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the last question, do you mind telling us your opinion about our broadcast or JPO outreach program?
Oh yeah, so I know more about the broadcast as compared to the outreach program.
Sure.
So I think it's a very amazing thing you guys are doing, because oftentimes we see performers performing on stage, but like with this broadcasting, like interview thing that you guys are doing, you guys really get into the behind the scene part of a performance. Like I was listening to like a few broadcast sessions that you guys made. It's like, wow, really, like you have no idea, like this is what it takes to be on stage, or this is what it takes to be who this person is. And I think that's the most important part. And also, like, just going back to my topic today again, like a performance, yes, that's the peak, but it's everything before that makes, like, that contribute to this moment. Like this makes sense because of all this work that you put in before. So I feel like, yeah, people should look into this part more. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. So thank you for spending your time with us tonight. All right. So
my pleasure.
Okay. Please check for the link at our Jesselton Philharmonic Orchestra Facebook page and tune in. Also, if you want to watch tonight's program again, you can go to our Jesselton Philharmonic Orchestra media channel on YouTube. If you like the videos, please subscribe, give thumbs up, and share with your friends. We also have created JPO Media account on Instagram and Twitter. Do follow us for more information. Your support means everything for us. This broadcast will be on every Wednesday and Sunday night until there is further notice. You guys have been great. Thank you everyone for being part of tonight and cooperate with us by asking questions. I hope you got the answers that you wanted. So be safe, be healthy, and keep social distancing. I will lead the prayer to end tonight's program. Please pray in whatever faith you believe in for COVID-19. Thank you, Lord, for giving us this opportunity to share and hear this valuable story tonight. We are slowly going back to our life, but still lots of people are suffering and fighting against this virus. Keep us safe until the end and bless us with your mercy. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Once again, thank you, Suin, and thank you, everyone. Good night and hope to see you all at the same time on our next broadcast. Bye-bye.